I found a snapshot in the back of a drawer, the one from that summer by the Jersey Shore. We were glowing in the sun, we were sharp, we were gold. Before the story got tired, before the weather got cold. But I held it to the light and I started to see that your face is becoming a stranger to me. The chemical blue is turning to white, like a ghost disappearing in the middle of the light. It's a slow motion exit, a chemical leak. The more that I want you, the more that I'm weak. I'm shaking the picture, I'm holding my breath, but I'm watching a slow and a colorful death. And you're fading like a Polaroid, inch by inch. I'm losing your features in a silver gray flinch. The smile that I knew is a wash of the pale, like a sunset that's ending, like a ship on a sail. I try to remember the brown of your eyes, but the developer's gone and the memory lies. Yeah, you're turning to nothing, you're losing the noise, just fading away like a Polaroid. The background is blurry, the edges are curled. The end of a person, the end of a world. I remember the shirt you were wearing that day, but the shade of the fabric is drifting away. Is it peach, is it pink, is it just a mistake? How much of a silhouette can one heart take? I'm reaching for detail, I'm begging for grain, but all I'm receiving is a vintage wash paint. And you're fading like a Polaroid, inch by inch. I'm losing your features in a silver gray flinch. The smile that I knew is a wash of the pale, like a sunset that's ending, like a ship on a sail. I try to remember the brown of your eyes, but developer's gone and the memory lies. Yeah, you're turning to nothing, you're losing the noise, just fading away like a Polaroid. And you aren't there. Where did you go? Where did you go? Now it's just a square of white, a blank space, a quiet night. I remember there was someone I knew, but the paper is empty, and I'm empty too. Fading, fading. It's only 4 letters, just a breath on the air, but I can't seem to say it without gasping for spare. I used to wear it like a locket, I used to wear it like a crown. Now it's a stone in my pocket, and it's pulling me down. I saw it on a junk mail envelope today, and I had to sit down just to wash the feeling away. It's an anchor in my throat, it's a shackle on my tongue, the hardest song that I have ever sung. The alphabet is innocent, the vowels are just fine, until they're put in order to cross the jagged line. It's a collision of the consonants, a wreckage in my mouth. Every time I try to speak, the wind starts blowing south. Oh, your name is a heavyweight, and I'm tired of the hall, I'm tired of the way it echoes through the empty hall. If I whisper it, I crumble, if I scream it, I break. It's the only word I know that feels like a physical ache. I'm carrying the syllables like a cross. Your name is a heavyweight. I try to use a synonym, I try to call you him, but the edges of the memory are never quite that dim. I see it in the neon signs, I see it in the dust, I see it in the places where the iron's turned to rust. It's a ghost in every sentence, it's a static on the line. A ghost that's taking up the space that used to be mine. I wanna be a stranger to the way your name feels, but it's a lock upon the door and a rust upon the wheels. Oh, your name is a heavyweight, and I'm tired of the hall, I'm tired of the way it echoes through the empty hall. If I whisper it, I crumble, if I scream it, I break. It's the only word I know that feels like a physical ache. I'm carrying the syllables like a cross made of lead, trying to find a place to lay this burden to bed. Yeah, it's a short little story, but it's a permanent fate. Your name is a heavyweight. Maybe if I forget the spelling, maybe if I lose the sound, I could finally stand up straight and get my feet back on the ground. But it's written on my lungs, it's written on my heart, and I can't tell where I end and where your name starts. Just a sound, just a sound, laying me down. Just a word, the saddest I've heard, I'm setting it down now, on the edge of the plate. But God, your name is a heavyweight. I caught myself using your favorite phrase to describe the way the sun gets lost in the haze. It tasted like copper, it felt like a thief, a sudden reminder of a permanent grief. I still turn the radio down at the park, where you said the silence was the best part of the dark. You're not in the hallway, you're not in the bed, but you're living in every word that I said. It's a haunting without any rattling chain, just the way that your habits are etched in my veins. I'm a map of the places where we used to go, a garden of seeds that you didn't stay to grow. And I'm living in the traces of you, and the coffee I make, and the things that I do. You're the ghost in the kitchen, the smudge on the glass, the shadow that whispers when the memories pass. I can't scrub the floorboards enough to be clean of the parts of our story that live in between. Every heartbeat is a debt that is overdue. I'm just a house full of traces of you. I found a receipt in an old winter coat for a dinner in April, and a small scribbled note. The ink is a memory I can't quite erase, like the way that your thumb used to trace round my face. I tried to be different, I tried to be new, but my favorite colors are the ones liked by you. It's a subtle possession, a quiet takeover of a heart that's still waiting for the war to be over. And I'm living in the traces of you, in the coffee I make, and the things that I do. You're the ghost in the kitchen, the smudge on the glass, the shadow that whispers when the memories pass. I can't scrub the floorboards enough to be clean of the parts of our story that live in between. Every heartbeat is a debt that is overdue. I'm just a house full of traces of you. If I move to a city where they don't know your name, will I still feel the heat of the very same flame? If I wash all my clothes, if I change every room, will I still find your scent in the middle of June? You're under my skin, you're where I begin. A smudge on the mirror, a dent in the door, a reason to wonder what the nothing is for. Just traces, small traces I see on the empty places. I'm sitting on the floor with the photograph spread, trying to hear the things that we never quite said. I've got a black ink pen and a heart full of glass, changing the future by fixing the past. In this version, I didn't let the screen door slam. In this version, you're still holding on my hand. I'm crossing out the fights and the cold nights in June, and moving the clock so you don't leave so soon. It's a dangerous game, playing God with a ghost, trying to save the parts that I'm missing the most. But the paper is thin and the ink's running dry, and I can't find a synonym for goodbye. And I'm rewriting our history page by page, locking the ending inside of a cage. I'm painting the gray skies a beautiful blue, deleting the parts where I didn't have you. But the truth is a stain that I can't wash away, no matter how many new lines I may say. I'm a desperate author with a broken mystery, just rewriting our history. That you packed up your car, I'm taking this over and burying it far in the margin. I've written that you stayed for the rain, that we found a way through the thick of the pain. I'm airbrushing the tears from your tired red eyes and replacing the silence with soft lullabies. If I read it back loud, I can almost believe that you weren't the person who wanted to leave. And I'm rewriting our history page you're still gone. The story is wrong. The book is still heavy, the ending is set. No matter how much I try to forget, the ink is dry now, the candle is low, and the version where you stayed is the one I have to let go. Rewriting, still rewriting. I'm standing in the doorway of the spare bedroom upstairs, the one we said we'd paint in blue, but now it's just for chairs. There's a stack of travel brochures for a trip to Greece in June, and a box of maybe colors that we gave up on too soon. I found the measurements we took for a rug upon the floor, marked in pencil on the wood right beside the closet door. It's a graveyard of intentions, it's a gallery of weight in a house that's full of ghosts who all arrived a little late. We were always almost happy, always almost there, like a sentence left unfinished, hanging in the stagnant air. I'm holding on to tickets for a show that's been canceled by a heart that grew too heavy for the weight it had to handle. And I'm living in a room full of almost, dancing with a crowd of could-have-beens, treading water in the nearly and the should-have-seens. We were an inch away from magic, a second shy of us. Now the silver's turned to iron and the iron's turned to rust. Every someday is a shadow, every maybe is a ghost in this room full of almost. I'm the one who stayed the most. Found the list of names we like for a life we'll never start, scrawled on napkins from the diner where you first broke my heart, and the champagne from the New Year's that we never got to pop sits lonely in the pantry where the celebration stopped. It's a catalog of not quites and a history of close, the kind of quiet violence that the lonely know the most. I'm surrounded by the echoes of the things we almost said before we chose the silence and the separate ways instead. And I'm living in a room full of almost, dancing with a crowd of could-have-beens, treading water in the nearly and the should-have-seens. We were an inch away from magic, a second shy of us. Now the silver's turned to iron and the iron's turned to rust. Every someday is a shadow, every maybe is a ghost in this room full of almost. I'm the one who stayed the most. But almost is a mountain that I'll never get to climb. Almost stayed, almost tried, almost lived before I died, closing the door on the might have been in the room full of almost, where I'm losing again. I'm measuring the distance from the table to the door, counting all the floorboards that don't feel like home no more. There's a blueprint in my head of how the light used to hit your face. Now I'm just a tenant in a vast and hollow space. I've got a ruler and a compass, trying to find the center point of the way the silence settles in every single joint. The ceiling's getting higher, or maybe I'm just getting small, living in the shadow of a name written on the wall. It's not just an empty room, it's a design of the heart, a masterpiece of missing you that's tearing me apart. I'm walking through the skeleton of everything we planned, building monuments of nothing in a desert made of sand. Oh, it's the architecture of absence, a house built out of air. I'm climbing up the staircase to a room that isn't there. Every corner is a memory, every hallway is a sigh. I'm living in the framework of a long and slow goodbye. It's a cathedral of the could have been, a palace made of stone, designed by two together but inhabited alone. Yeah, the math is always broken, and the walls are caving in on the architecture of absence, where the you and I begin. The windows are like eyes that have forgotten how to see, staring at the garden where the weeds are wild and free. You were the support beam, you were the load-bearing wall, and I didn't think to brace myself for the inevitable fall. Now the kitchen's just a vacuum where the coffee used to brew, and the porch is just a platform with a devastating view. I'm studying the angles of the shadows on the floor, trying to find the exit but I can't find the door. It's the architecture of absence, a house built out of air. I'm climbing up the staircase to a room that isn't there. Every corner is a memory, every hallway is a sigh. I'm living in the framework of a long and slow goodbye. It's a cathedral of the could have been, a palace made of stone, designed by two together but inhabited alone. Yeah, the math is always broken, and the walls are caving in on the architecture of absence, where the you and I begin. Tear down the curtains, let the rafters show. I'm tired of the structure, I'm ready to let go. But how do you demolish a ghost? How do you burn down the thing you love most? The foundation is cracked and you're never coming back. Just a frame in the rain, just a space with no face. I'll stay here in the ruins, I'll sleep here in the dust, in the architecture of absence, in the iron and the rust. I can hear the neighbor's TV through the master bedroom side. There's nowhere left in this house for a heavy heart to hide. I thought we built a fortress out of brick and mortar gray, but the first sign of a storm and the edges start to fray. I can hear your footsteps, even though you're blocks away. I can hear the things you're thinking that you're too afraid to say. We're living in a sketch pad, we're living in a lie, with a roof made of tissue and a cardboard kind of sky. Don't lean too hard against the kitchen sink. The whole thing's thinner than you'd ever think. One sharp word, one sudden gust of wind, and we're showing off the places where we've sinned. Oh, we're living behind paper walls, where every whisper echoes and every shadow falls. I can see the light through the cracks in the seam. We're waking up inside of a wedding dream. It's a fragile kind of shelter, it's a temporary grace. I can see the world moving right through your face. Yeah, it looked like a home until the first rain falls. Then we're just shivering behind paper walls. I try to hang a picture of the day we went to Maine, but the nail went right through and it couldn't take the strain. The plaster's just a memory, the wood is just a ghost. We're exposed to the elements we fear the very most. I can hear the city breathing, I can hear the traffic crawl, I can hear my own heart beating like a hammer on the wall. There's no privacy and lonely, there's no safety in the hall. When you realize that forever was just a sketch upon the wall. We're living behind paper walls, where every whisper echoes and every shadow falls. I can see the light through the cracks in the seam. We're waking up inside of a wedding dream. It's a fragile kind of shelter, it's a temporary grace. I can see the world moving right through your face. Yeah, it looked like a home until the first rain falls. Then we're just shivering behind paper walls. The calendar says it's supposed to be spring, but the ground is still hard as a stone. I'm out in the garden where we planted the oak, standing in the dirt all alone. I try to pull up stakes in the wire to clear out the bed for the year, but nothing is moving and nothing is green. The winter's still living here. I thought I could transplant my life to a city 1,000 miles south of this cold. But the deeper I dig, the more I realize that the earth has a stubborn old hold. I'm tugging at memories, I'm pulling at ghosts, but they're tangled in the clay and the grit. It turns out the weed that we grew in the dark didn't know when it was time to quit. And I'm held in place by these frozen roots, buried in a season that won't let me go. I'm wearing my coat and my heavy leather boots, but I'm still shivering under the snow. You took all the branches, you took all the leaves, you took every bloom that a lover perceives, but you left me the part that the world never suits, the deep down bitter frozen roots. They told me that time was a shovel and spade, that I'd dig my way out of the choices we made, but the frost goes so deep when the love was so real. It turns all the things that you think into steel. I'm reaching for sun, but I'm anchored in ice, paying the forever kind of price. Shivering under the snow, you took all the branches, you took all the leaves, you took every bloom that a lover perceives, but you left me the part that the world never suits, the deep down bitter frozen roots. I guess I'll just wait for the thought, whenever it comes, if it comes. The ground is so quiet, the roots go so deep, deep, deep. This title brings such a specific grieving sound of the heartbreak. The tin roof provides a natural percussion, a relentless metallic tapping that mirrors a mind that won't stop overthinking. It's loud, it's cold, and it makes the silence inside the house feel even heavier. Rain on a tin roof, loneliness, the clouds rolled in around 6:30, painting the valley in a bruised kind of gray. I watched the first drop hit the window pane before the sky finally gave itself away. Now there's a roar rising up overhead, a frantic drumming on the corrugated steel. It's the only thing loud enough to drown out the ghost of the us that I'm trying not to feel. We used to lie here and call it a lullaby. Back when your head was a weight on my chest, you'd say the thunder was just the earth breathing, setting the chaotic world to a rest. But now that you're gone, the rhythm has changed. It sounds like a warning, it sounds like a plea, like 1,000 small fingers are tapping the glass, trying to get through the layers of me. And it's a rain on a tin roof, loneliness, a steady metallic beat in my bones. It's the static that fills up the empty space between the I miss yous and leaving me alone. The water is running in silver gray veins, but the thirst in my spirit is all that remains. Yeah, the sky is just crying 'cause it's under the stress of this rain on a tin roof, loneliness. Every drop is a why, every splash is a when, counting the times that I've died and come back again. The roof is a shield, it's starting to leak. The ceiling is stained and the structure is weak. I'm dry on the skin, but I'm soaked to the soul in a house that's forgotten. It's part of a fills up the empty space between the I miss yous and leave me alone. The water is running in silver gray veins, but the thirst in my spirit is all that remains. Yeah, the sky is just crying cause it's under the stress of this rain on a tin roof. Wash it away or just let it soak in. I don't know where the storm ends and I begin. It's getting louder. There are two glasses sitting on the countertop. One is empty and one is halfway full. I remember the sound of the cork as it popped before the evening took a jagged pull. The red has left a stain on the white of the wood, a little bruised circle where your laughter once stood. Now the air is biting and the kitchen is dark, and I'm looking for a flame in a room with no spark. I took a sip just to see if the sweetness remained, but it's turned into vinegar, heavy and sharp, like the way that your voice sounded through the hallway when you were tearing the strings from my heart. It's oxygen starved and it's been left out too long, just like the forever in our favorite song. I should pour it all out, let it go down the drain, but I'm clinging to anything that carries your name. It's just leftover wine in a cold crystal glass, a vintage of memories that I can't let pass. It's bitter and heavy, it's dry on my tongue, the ghost of a song that will never see sung. I'm drinking the dregs of a beautiful year, watching the sediment turn into tears. Yeah, the bottle is empty but the heartache is mine, and I'm choking on swallows of leftover wine. They say that things get better with age, that time turns the leaf on a painful page. But some things just rot when they're left in the light, some things just wither in the middle of the night. And this glass is a mirror, and the mirror is clear. You aren't coming back, and I'm still sitting here. Crystal glass, a vintage of memories that I can't let pass. It's bitter and heavy, it's dry on my tongue, the ghost of a song that will never see sung. I'm drinking the dregs of a beautiful year, watching the sediment turn into tears. Yeah, the bottle is empty but the heartache is mine, and I'm choking on swallows of leftover wine. One last toast to the girl I used to know. One last toast before I let the bottle go. It's sour, it's finished.